Are we good?
I think it's in there, so maybe it's good reason.
Perfect, thank you.
And if it's warm in there, if that fan's not on, you might want to turn it on.
Oh, it's
That's
good.
good to me,
Yeah,
huh?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Did you get minutes from the last meeting?
I don't believe so. I don't remember seeing you.
I didn't see any either, and I didn't see it on the agenda to approve the minutes.
I guess you hadn't done it yet, then. Yeah, no, I don't remember that. I was surprised to see these changes in here. Last I heard, Ray was wanting to put that off, but
About the
changes to the personnel policy, yeah, the different changes.
so it's come up before.
Was that?
It's come up before.
Yeah, so the comp time was a big, to do at the last budget session, and the sense was, the board wanted to either just pay it and be done, and then not keep accruing, or at least stop the accrual. And then there was something about some of the employees didn't want to be paid. They preferred, in other words, to have time off to chip away at it instead of being paid extra.
Yeah.
So, because some of them have some really,
You know, it's comp time.
yeah, I think one person has 80-something days, which is a lot.
Yeah.
I never worked anywhere that had comp time, so it's kind of new to me, but I know a lot of places cap it usually at like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's usually whatever you get for vacation, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I've usually seen.
Yeah. Well, I work for the state, and if you were above a certain level, you only got comp time, you never got paid. So I don't remember, but if you were considered managers and above,
Right.
you got comp time only. And then with the state, if you left, you couldn't. If you left, you did not get paid for comp time.
Yeah, so you really had, it was kind of a negative incentive to accumulate it,
Yeah.
hoping for the,
Hoping to pay.
yeah. What do you say there, Frank?
How you doing?
Or Larry, I'm sorry. Did I
Frank,
just call him
Larry.
Frank? Larry Frank.
All right.
Who's your husband?
He's a public, yeah, but it's just to keep our meetings
say?
open to the public, but yes, he is.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Larry.
Hi, Larry.
Larry
Not Frank.
Well, I kept saying, well, the same guy comes all the time.
Yeah.
That's her beau.
Yeah. There was
My
times where I
bodyguard
needed
there
to
for a
come because
while.
I felt like the person was almost threatening to me.
Oh, I was gonna ask you, did we have
There
minutes?
was a need for
I
me.
submitted them, but they didn't make the agenda.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no worries. Is that the only outstanding one we have? Okay, yeah.
And I didn't catch it, I apologize, Matt, as far as when the agenda came out, but it,
I didn't get it either.
so. But anyway, you wanna, we need to document,
Oh, okay.
whatever, that it was emailed to
I got you, yeah.
you and Ray.
Okay, you do.
So, and
Do you want me to keep this, or?
yeah, you can keep it. And what I don't know, and maybe this is something we can talk about, was when I submit those minutes the next day, do you want me, should I be giving them to everybody?
So I think that's probably, so what I do with the POA, I send it to everybody, that way if there's
Okay,
anybody has a
that's what I
change,
thought.
we can make the change prior to
Right,
publication
that's
of
what
the meeting.
I thought. That they should, and it can all be on the same email, it's not like we're, right, so, okay, so I'll start. Then that way y'all get them and you can review them minutes and then help us make sure they make it on the agenda.
Yeah.
He was asking me, I sent them the next day, but they didn't make it on the agenda.
But no, that
That
wouldn't
way y'all
bother
can
me
read
either.
them and, okay, that'll work.
Yeah, if there's any minor changes. we
Yeah,
can fix it ahead of time.
Right. That sounds good. Very good. Oh, you got, you go back to having pens and maps.
What do you say, Ray?
Hey, Ray, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah.
Well, I keep wanting to say good morning.
Me
Where's
too.
mine?
Morning.
How's it going?
Really good.
And it got warm today, didn't it?
Warm and humid.
89.
was over at the lake. I wasn't pouring concrete, I was watching people pour concrete, and they still had their sweaters on, I'm like, or sweatshirts, I'm like, oh my God,
Wow.
all these guys.
Yep. Our friend in mosquito be out 14.
Came from the, came from the.
The what?
The friend of mosquito.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they should be here soon, right?
I know, I need to put up some prometheus in my yard, like PDQ. Luckily, I'm 8 feet above virgin ground, I built my house way up. But if it weren't for that, cause sometimes my wife and I will go get on the Ranger, go down around the pond, and oh my God, you have to wear a raincoat, man, it's like, I mean, you're afraid to take a breath because you think you're gonna swallow.
You are.
My husband bought this hat with mosquito netting that comes down to here to mow the grass, and and a lot of times he'll wear like a rain, like pants and
Oh, yeah.
top, because, certain times whenever they're that bad.
Yeah, and they're real bad in our neighborhood. I wish, the first 2 years we were out there, we would see the county come through with the sprayer fairly frequently. But here the last couple, and maybe I'm just missing it, I don't know, but I hadn't seen them that much. And I don't know if they cut back on that or what. Cause I know when I was a kid going to Harbor Oaks and country club, well, we'd see those sprayer dudes all the time. I guess it was the city doing it then instead of the county.
When I see them now, they come, in our area, they come about 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, really? Oh, well, that may be, cause I'm usually not coherent.
Yeah, I'm usually in bed. I'm usually in bed by then.
Yeah.
But that's the few times I've seen them, it's been that late.
Yeah, it's bad out there, what I call the coastal prairie, you know, everything, when you got that Sequoia grass, it's terrible. I mean, that's mosquito production waiting to happen. And that's why our restrictions actually provide for every person who develops a lot out there is supposed to provide a drainage plan, because they're supposed to drain everything off their property.
Luckily, everybody is now required for drainage, right, in county?
I don't know what the county requirements are, for, you know, privately through contract ours is.
Yeah.
I went out there one time in my place and it was pretty wet, and, you know, when the grass comes through the water, you got a little water down there and it's protected from the wind, that's like, I mean, that's, you know, you're ringing a bell for the suckers to breathe.
Right. Kevin's on his way.
Okay.
That's really Oh, geez.
We're gonna start, Matt, we're gonna start streaming.
Okay.
So,
I was wondering, is it possible to put that microphone over here? Or does it even have a long enough cord? Would that help?
You can put it over there, but the cord does become something you have to dodge.
Yeah.
But it is extremely sensitive.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, unless you've noticed on some recordings you can't hear it, there's some other problem. But if you plug headphones into that thing, you'll feel like Spider-Man.
Okay.
And you have people rustling papers across the room.
Okay, yeah, because a couple of videos I saw on the YouTube, I'll go once in a while just to see, and
Yeah, you can't
it's
hear.
a little faint.
Well, let me know when that happens, because there's been some difficulty getting the new computer set up. It should be a lot better.
Okay.
But there's a reason. You see that second camera up there?
Yeah.
The one on the left is actually a backup. It's a redundancy, because sometimes something happens and it takes days to fix it.
Okay, yeah.
It might be when recording from that microphone,
Okay.
but it was hard to hear.
I know when I would do art meetings, my daughter, they had to deal with sitting in there. Oh, boy, she was so frustrated. Like, man, I hate to be that guy, but I couldn't, what did you just say?
If you want to move it, you can.
Nah, we're good. We'll see how this one turns out.
Sorry.
My bad.
I didn't hear from Kevin, so I don't know if he's gonna be here.
Yeah.
He texted that he's on his way.
Oh, okay.
He'll be here, so I don't know. I got 2 minutes till.
Yeah, we're
leaving.
good, we're good.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Mm.
That's the evening. Is that a light?
I put those in here as a joke. hoping that you guys were gonna steal them, nobody took.
They were here last
They
week.
were.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
got
like
one last,
they're
yeah.
atrocious, so.
Oh, you gotta pull that thing off. Oh, that's, I don't even write like that. That wouldn't help me much. I don't know how you're supposed to, okay. Not lefty approved. That's funny. I am cheap enough to steal one though, even if I don't wanna use it.
They're still yours,
I would tell Susan when she does the closing, I'll say, baby,
then.
the one thing you get from a closing, a title company is pins. They'll have a big old bowl, I said, just grab a whole bunch of. If I live to be
And they're
100 now.
usually good pens.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're smooth.
I like them because they're blue ink, and usually you don't get a lot.
Right. If I live to be 100 and have to buy another pen, I'm gonna consider my life, not well lived. I know when I was in school, I took notes, longhand, and everybody around me dang near was, I'm like, how do y'all do that, man? They're like, how do you do that? It's just the only thing I've ever done. Go through one semester, you got like 115 pages of notes. Try to condense it down, make an outline out of that, try to get it to about 60 pages. Not good.
Doesn't bring back good memories.
No, lots of
But all
it,
that's
right.
over. Everything's easier now.
I remember like when I first started in undergrad, getting those blue books. And you write stuff and you're like, oh wait a minute, I gotta go back and
We're
put this
here,
in there.
save
You're like drawing arrows.
Yeah, right on the
Hey,
side.
how's it going?
It's the 31st, I got a light out the door and 3 staff members out.
Uh-oh.
So you're lucky you got me.
Yeah.
I ran out going, I don't know if I can make it in 3 minutes, but I'm going.
You made it, both of you.
Is that you're not guilty, Steve?
Yeah, they're all crabs.
Oh, yeah. Cool. I like that.
Told him, I said, he was looking pretty spooky, didn't recognize me.
I'll
I was
tell you
gonna say,
that.
I didn't recognize him, I thought he was somebody different, 'cause I think I've only seen you once, but.
You gotta be the FBI agent or
Yeah,
something.
usually, my jeans and Columbia shirt suffice for normal days, but I have federal court today, so they don't take so
Yeah.
kindly to me showing up in my.
No, not at all.
Well, just have a call.
Yeah, right.
Okay, guys, we're right at 4 o'clock here, so, I guess we'll go and get started. So this is the March 31st, 2025 meeting of the, Aransas County Appraisal District Board of Directors. And, I'm just gonna dive right in if that's okay.
Just don't go to the deep end.
Yeah, right. Agenda item number 1, declaration of quorum and call to order. So we do have a full complement of the board, including Ms. Marshall, so we do have a quorum. And our next agenda item is citizens to be heard. Is there anyone that wishes to be heard from the public? I don't think anybody filled a form out or anything, okay, so we can move along from that one. Agenda item number 3, Chief Appraiser's report discussion. So, Mr. Chief Appraiser?
Here we go. I asked Val to come in, this is Val, in case y'all don't know Val.
Hey there, Val.
Hi.
For this calendar, also for, the part where we talk about the school district, freeze laws, and potentially also about the personal policy manual. Just depending on how many, if you guys have questions, Val may be able to help with some of the answers. So, last time we met, a couple of you guys asked if we could just have a calendar that outlines what's in front of us. And so this is where we're at. So on this is not the calendar that you would get from the comptroller website. If you want that calendar, you're free to go there. It just has a lot more on it. This is the calendar that's kind of in my head right now for us. And we have a scheduled date with our printer for the 17th. So notice is being mailed out on April 17th. We have a deadline that's not on here, but we have to have all the notices submitted to them by the 10th. So that's coming up. And then the next deadline that has to do with this particular subject is we give certified estimates, preliminary values to the entities. The tax code is by April 30th. We're planning on between the 10th and the 17th. That's the window we're hoping to have that done. And then, the May 1st through the 15th is when the appraisal districts need to publish in the local newspaper, taxpayer procedures for protesting.
I have a question about that. So the first to the 15th, so you just publish every time the newspaper comes
It's
out?
just the window that it has to be
Oh,
done.
okay, 'cause
Yes,
it's a
ma'am.
window, okay.
Yeah, that's the window. That's the requirement
Is
window.
it just a one-time?
One time. Is it 2 issues, or do you remember?
I think we typically do 2 issues.
Two run, yeah, 2 issues, yeah. And, we've talked about this year, not that it's being trafficked heavily, but I think we will also put that on Facebook. I think we're gonna just mirror Facebook to our website, mirror Facebook to the newspaper in a lot of ways. We haven't thought that through all the way yet, but, something like that. You'll notice on the 20th, there's a caveat to this one. This is when the ARB approves the appraisal records. But for that to be approved, 95% of protested value has to be accounted for. So the next date is the certification of the roll. Again, that is 95% of value has to be resolved. If you get to that date and you have not resolved 95% of protested value, you have to give a certified estimate, and the entities have to start thinking about their budget without having the warm fuzzy feeling of only 5% hanging out in the wind. Some other percentage under ARB review. So the goal is always to have certified value done by July 25th, or have a certified value by the 25th. Again, that is 95% of the value that's under review, not 95% of value under review. And then I put this in here, June, it really could be May to question mark, August, September. That's when we'll be doing ARB hearings. We do them Monday through Thursday from 8:30 to whenever we end. And if you go one page back, I don't know how interested you guys are in this kind of stuff, so I'll try to gauge the room. We don't have to spend very much time here unless you want to. But this is a snapshot since 2020 of the Aransas County Appraisal District protest season. This is, in appraisal world, this is called equalization. Everybody calls it protest, but it's equalization. So you can see, if you're interested in stats, you can kind of see year over year the value that the county has changed in the preliminary market value. You can see the increase in protest amount, the approvals, the denieds, the no-shows. No-shows are scheduled hearing, everything was done, they didn't come to the hearing. So, yeah.
What is the inquiry called again?
Say that again.
The inquiry?
Inquiry is, you didn't protest, but you called.
Oh,
You called.
so you're tracking phone calls? Yeah.
Or we track those for the 30-day window.
Oh.
The 30-day
First
window.
30 days out.
After the
Okay.
notice.
Okay.
So once we start receiving
That
phone calls,
gives you
a lot of people will call and just say, hey, I don't really want to protest, I just have a question. And that's what this is.
But they usually give you like a kind of an idea of what.
How
to
busy we
expect.
are.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, very good.
You can get a little bit of a window of,
Yeah.
of how much of a.
What they're interested in, yeah, is there a lot of concern, like, oh my gosh, or,
Yeah.
but y'all know that when they look at work too.
Yeah, you know, you can see, again, it just depends on how much you really want to jump into this stuff, but you can see in the year of 23,
Yeah,
the county value went up,
Yeah.
29%.
Right.
So the increase over year is 10%, 12%, 14%, 29%.
Yeah.
And then that year was 4,200 protests.
Right.
And then we went down to a 6% increase, and then this year this number was ran a little bit early by me, but I wanted to see where we were at, and that 6%, that includes market changes, but that also includes new value. So that's your
Okay.
new homes, that's acreage that's been split into lots, and that's market adjustments to get to the 6%. It's real hard, to hurt the Rockport market, because we're so, we have so many out of towners. We have so much, like, we're not just buying in town, we've got a different market.
So what was the anomaly of 29%?
I think it was, people being told no by the federal government because of COVID, and they responded by saying, I'm buying. That's my personal
Well, people
opinion.
took your money on the stock market.
Yeah.
I just think
Okay.
that it's,
It was ridiculous here in 23.
yeah.
It was ridiculous, 23.
And they bought high.
I could tell you, because we did a tax search for the title companies, and it was ridiculous how many requests we got in closings.
So do you compare the percentage change with our district to similar districts?
Yeah, the whole state felt it. The whole state felt it.
And
In
we're in line with that?
we were in line with that. But if you're a stats person, the one thing you would do when you're looking at this data is you would really cross that out, actually. Because in this data set, it is. I mean, because there's a lot of consistency between 10, 12, and 14. There's consistency, obviously, between 6 and 6. The sore thumb here is 29. So you know.
That was coming off of that 2022 year, that just, 2022 was the last part of that craziness, and then the feds in that September started raising rates, and that was when things finally started slowing down. But the 10, 12, 14% aren't actually, the value jumped more than that in those years.
It was a lag, yeah.
Yeah.
And
And it
so
all
that,
depends when we're capturing it and looking at
that
it, all of
29%
that.
is capturing the last of that big jump, and seeing what I've seen, I mean, I would almost expect values to go down a little bit this next year, just the market's been so slow, and people are finally reducing prices, and so, that's y'all's job, but.
Well, no, I mean, I think sellers are becoming more willing to let go of, that's part of the process. People are figuring out how to price things a little bit better, and not trying to make a home run with every single one. It just takes time. I hate to do it because it's an overused analogy, but it's the slow turning ship. You know, it just takes a long time. You see it turning, but then it just takes forever when it finally gets there. But you see it, you know, way ahead of time. Hey, that ship's turning, and then eventually it's going to turn. But I do. I mean, the market is saturated with listings. You know, all kinds of stuff is going on.
What does AR approved and AR denied, what does that actually mean?
So this is every one of the ones there, like in the year of 24, we had 374 where someone came to a hearing and the ARB agreed with the approval was for a citizen.
Okay,
And then ARB denied, we had 275 where the ARB said no.
okay.
And then the 412 is people who didn't show up. And then we settled right around 1850, without a hearing.
And so really any deviation from what the property owner wants is gonna be reflected in that ARB denied, even if it was a
ARB
reduction?
approved.
Okay, so that captures everything where the
Yeah.
CAD number was reduced by some.
Yeah, and
some
that's,
extent.
so like, that's a good thing to say, Matt, because one thing I would like to say to this is that doesn't mean 374 times someone left happy.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
They just left with
They
a
just-
lower number.
They
Yeah.
just left with a low, that's
Yeah.
not.
It may have not been their number.
Yeah,
It
but
was
it
a
just
number.
means that's simply the stat that's there. I lump in the withdrawals with the settlements, but I wanted you guys to see them. So in my opinion, a withdrawal is almost always someone who comes to us, they protest, they talk to us, and they go, oh gosh, I didn't even know it works that way, I don't want to do this, I withdraw. So really, we had over 2,000 settlements, really, of the 3,100 protests. So we're settling a large amount of protests. And the year before, we had 1,700, or almost 1,800. And then if you include the withdrawals, you're looking at 1,900, really close to 2,000 settlements. So we're doing, the appraisers are working hard to get settlements. The no-shows are a backbreaker. Not a backbreaker, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's a lot of work to get to a hearing, and then it doesn't happen. And so it's okay that that happens, but it's still all the work to get there, And then, you know, for whatever reason, the hearing just didn't happen.
Doesn't that kind of also, I mean, that causes a timing issue with the ARB too, right? I mean,
It
aren't they kind of
does.
sitting around?
Sometimes they are, there's just not a lot, there's no, lever to pull to make that change.
Yeah.
You'll send like a notices like a day or two before that says your review is scheduled for and such. Please let us know.
Yes, if they are online, and they've requested, you've given us an email address, and they've requested a hearing reminder, we do that.
Do they have to request a hearing reminder?
Well, and then if they put in a paper copy. So right now, we're in flux where a lot of people still do paper, protests, and then some protest online, which just makes it automatic, where our software will send out a hearing reminder.
Okay.
So they don't have to request it if they have protested electronically. And I don't even think we have to send one, since we're under 120,000 people, but we try to accommodate anybody that wants a reminder. The only thing we don't do is the text reminder. That's an option, because we just don't have that.
Technology.
Yeah, we have to do it
Because
from
I
a
guess
personal
a day or
phone.
two for you is not gonna matter because you've already prepared by that time.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we're 2 weeks we're 2 weeks before, typically. Yeah, so that's the typical, right, 2 weeks?
Yes,
10
it
days?
has to be 15 days.
15 days, yeah.
So the protest amount, is that a dollar amount in thousands or something?
That's the numerical amount. So there was
Protest,
3,110 filed protests in 2025.
okay, so it is a number.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
So, and the inquiry is the cause, okay.
The inquiry is a phone call beforehand. Mm-hmm. Or a walk-in. I don't know the exact stats, but it's probably split down the middle. It's either a phone call or someone just walks in. And they just want to talk before they protest.
So I have another question on employees. So is this FTEs that you have, full-time equivalents, that are assigned to the board? Is 9 because we have a vacancy now?
9 because we have a vacancy.
So should you still have, your FTEs are still 10? You're gonna fill that position, so you haven't gone down to 9.
No, I'm just, but going into this time, we're gonna have 9 and not 10. And I don't know.
Workload versus.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what that'll mean. I'll let you guys know in a couple of months. We're working on things. We've got some ideas about how to.
Try to handle the workflow with one less.
A different
person.
way, yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about it. And I don't want to be glasses half full or half empty. I'm neither of those. That's just how it is for now. We'll see what that means. There's a couple of people in the office, there's glasses half empty about that particular line, but,
I had one other question on the front side of that. So we said when we notified the taxing units of the estimate, when do they get notified of the final?
that's for July 25th.
So that's the certification.
Mhm. That's for July 25th. And I can't remember when our budgets do, when do entities have their budgets?
They're all different.
They're all different?
Yeah.
All of them by the end of September.
Yeah, they're all
Have to
different.
be. The
Okay.
school district, I think, is before that.
Yes.
For some reason.
Yeah,
I've only been through part of one, but,
Yeah.
I think it is like July.
Are y'all on a fiscal calendar that starts October 1st,
Theirs starts September 1st.
September 1st?
oh, so that's even,
Yeah.
okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
The state trust starts on September.
They're the only ones of our entities that start September 1st.
Huh.
And that's what that number's all about.
Yeah.
And the thing
Yes,
is,
the school district.
is like when you look at this other page here, this preliminary market value, which is the value for the whole county, you know, I mean, we're often talking about individual protests in here and individual accounts, but this is the number that is being figured out for this over here, so they can generate a budget, right? That's the whole, that's the idea behind it, so.
And then they not necessarily the school too, because you guys they don't get their numbers from, until like the beginning of August. So it's time crunching. As soon as Kathy gets her numbers, she's in my office,
Yeah.
and we're crunching numbers together.
So the budget from our perspective, we have to, I can't remember last year, did we approve our budget before September 1st then?
The appraisal district budgets
September.
are September 15th,
Yeah.
Okay.
before the 15th. That's the,
And
and that is,
that's right down here.
yeah, that is in this next little grouping. That's a good segue into this other part of the calendar that I put out was, the first one there says May, budget is given to the board. That's not a requirement, that's just what we want to do. Is by May, you guys have a proposed budget from this office for the year of 2026. And then,
So is that May, but it says late April there.
yeah, so this is just me saying to myself and to y'all that my goal is,
Late
have-
April, but you'll get it to us for sure by May.
yeah,
By the
yeah.
time we need, it'll be.
Yeah, I want to get this thing, I want to get this budget to you guys soon. I don't want the budget hanging over my head once the phone starts ringing. And so, I'm gonna try to be working on that and get, and the idea is I'm gonna give you guys a first copy, and then we can meet and discuss, at some point, discuss what's going on, questions you guys have about, the budget. On the 15th, there's a requirement by the 15th for the entities to have a budget from me, and that's not an approved budget, that's a proposed budget. And then the next requirement is by the September 15th. It's really before the 15th is the approved budget. So the requirements that are out there, the true requirements are, on the 15th, the entities and the board of directors get a proposed budget from the appraisal district. And then by the 15th of September, that budget has to be adopted. In between there, we've added some things just to make this, like, if I'm gonna give the entities a budget on the 15th, I prefer that you guys have seen it and ask me a few questions. I've cleaned some things up, and then I give them something that has been seen at least. And then we meet enough times to feel confident that we have a budget that you guys can adopt, and that has to be done no later than the September 15th. To my knowledge, Val, and I don't know if you know this, like, we're usually pretty close to the last minute in the past. Like, I think.
I've been, we're between the 10th and the 15th.
Yeah.
But it's not, that we can do it as early as
Right,
possible.
right, and Matt has talked to me about that, about trying to do that earlier. It's just a budget and trying to get it to something that we can agree on. Going from that,
Okay, well, while we're still on,
Yeah.
just one quick question. We have April 17th as the date the notices are mailed, and then May 15th is the deadline to file protest. That being, it's supposed to be a 30-day period,
so it'll
that's
actually.
28 days.
Yeah, it'll actually be, the 15th is the way the code says, but it'll actually, the counting will start from the 17th.
Okay,
So it'll be.
so well, it's actually May 17th is the deadline for
As
protest.
long as you counted the 17th as one of the days.
Right,
Then that would be correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
just want to make sure there's no statutory issues.
No, that's exactly right. It'll be 30 days from the
From the day.
17th,
Okay.
counting the day of the 17th and counting weekends and holidays. It just starts counting, yeah. The next thing that I wanted to show you guys is you have a budget in front of you to let you guys see where we're at. Just 2 months in. This is just 2 months in. But also, it's a little bit more than that. The first page, the page that has blue on it, is the budget in the format that has been in. It's also the format that you guys, when you all did an approval, you approved this budget. I have issues with this, and so I've there's another page in here of the format being changed. It's the way that I would like to go going forward. And I'll just point out a couple of issues, like in the blue copy budget, which is the budget that I think has been in this office for years. If you look down at the bottom, personnel services and office supplies and utilities are grouped together. I don't want to do that anymore. I also want personnel services to be at the top of the budget. It's by far the most expensive part, the most costly part of our budget. So going forward, I would like for us, the numbers are the same, I just want to start using a new format. And it's the format that doesn't have the blue lines on it.
So is personnel services the salaries?
Salaries and benefits, and then it says personnel underneath that, and then that way you guys can see how much it costs for salaries and benefits for personnel total. There is no office supplies or utilities at all in that line item. Office, our utilities is in the building section, and office supplies is in the supply section. So the budget's been changed in format only. So,
I think unless there's an objection from someone on the board, I think you're the one that,
yeah.
you're the one manipulating this data. If this makes you more comfortable, I mean, I have no issues.
I think it's more,
I like
it makes more sense. I agree.
My only comment is that at the top, and we've talked about this before, it's just semantics, but not really. We have this thing called actual, year-to-date actual through February,
Yes.
but that really should just be expenditures, year-to-date expenditures. It's not an actual budget, it's the expenditures off the budget,
I gotcha.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that just makes it read better for
Right.
an outside person who's not
Right.
here
But it
and
doesn't
listening to
Without
what
the
we're
date,
doing.
so you don't know how
Yeah,
long has been expended.
it does include some, I agree with year to date,
Expenditures year-to-date.
but the expenditures are including, there's revenue, which isn't an expenditure.
Yeah, well, that's where, the next thing is, when you're putting out your budget, so initially he had revenues up top, and that's usually how you see it. In a standard budget, county budget,
Yeah,
you'll have your revenues up top.
right.
So my only suggestion would be, in the formatting, I like the format better.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I like you breaking out the personnel like you did.
Yeah.
But what I think
You want revenues at the top?
standard practice is revenue to be at the top.
Okay.
Okay.
We talked about that.
Yes.
And it was just like some debate on whether or not this is actually revenue or not. It's like payback, but I understand.
So then my bad, if you're calling it expenditures, I see what you're saying this is now your actual. I guess my problem is you budget once and then you don't have an actual, what you would call budget, you just have either encumbrances on that budget or you have, I don't know, whatever
What if it just
y'all
says
need,
year-to-date?
whatever.
I would
What if
just
it
put
just-
year-to-date budget used.
Okay, or year-to-date through February?
Yeah, year-to-date used through February.
Okay.
If you wanna put the used
But that
in
kind of
there.
goes back to the revenue use, I just don't know, I'm just a stickler looking for standard accounting practice, and so,
Do you guys want the revenue at the top though? Would y'all rather have, would y'all want?
That don't
It
bother
doesn't
me.
matter to me.
Okay.
Okay.
I would like to see where the revenue
it's
comes
standard
from,
accounting
though.
practice to put revenue at the
Like
top.
this had it
Not to
lined
be
out.
rude, but
Yeah.
I don't
All
care,
right.
if that's what,
This is
if
one.
you want it, go
You
for
wanna
it.
see where it comes
That's like
from?
what he
Yeah,
said,
absolutely.
it's
Just
really not a
Yeah.
revenue, it's kind of a
well,
expense
then,
reimbursed. So I get where
Okay.
he's getting on that too.
then
what-
quite, okay, then,
I
but
think
anyway.
we're getting way into the
Yeah,
weeds
okay, that's fine.
of whatever the best practice, I absolutely agree that we should do that as a board, but it's not
You know why
something
I
we're
say
gonna
that, though?
vote on. I think it's something we could talk about later, that this is how we would like to see the format of your budget going forward.
Well, let me just throw this at you then, what my only issue is with it, then when we have the auditor come through here and give me the audit,
Mhm.
things don't look right. So that's an issue, then if I got one of these,
Mhm.
and then the next week we have a meeting with the auditor.
Well, is this gonna
Things
change
don't always
too, if we
match,
actually get
so-
the CPA and all of that as well, so.
Right.
Well, we have an audit every year, though, we get an audit every
Get
year.
that.
So my thought to you was, Rick, make it, this is more an audit, you need to talk to auditors as well,
Uh,
that will help make this convert to a 30.
yeah.
So, but,
Yeah,
whatever y'all want,
we don't need to make
I'm
it
good
any
with it.
broader.
Oh,
It's possible that,
Make it work.
it's possible that when we hire the CPA, he'll want to change things. For me
But
personally,
I'm good with what you said.
Cause isn't the actual revenue for this entity, I mean, it's usually a lump sum, right, when the
yeah.
budgets are
and the
approved.
Tax office pays us some stuff for.
See, it's just,
some
I
things.
reimburse some,
There's some
we get
reimbursements
one
out there
bill
'cause we share
for our
some things.
software, and there's like line items that are mine, so we pick them out, and I pay those, and I give him the money to pay the whole bill.
Is that with tax office, DATT?
Yes.
It is.
The data, that's my portion of the cloud that we pay for.
But as far as what we get from the actual taxing jurisdictions, those are like just lump sum payments, aren't they, once their budget has been approved?
I was gonna say, some of them pay quarterly, they pay them
Okay,
quarterly,
okay.
yeah.
So, yeah, so it's not like we're not a business
We don't-
where we're looking at a weekly revenue
Right,
stream, it's,
no.
you know,
Right,
the snapshot on revenue is a lot less important, I think,
right.
than on the expenditure side, just because of the nature of how this operates.
Did you guys have, I mean, okay, was there any questions about, or anything else about this, including, is there anything in here that y'all have any questions about money that has been spent? No?
No, I'll wait till we get to the budget.
Okay,
To talk, I mean, later on, we're gonna have budget, talk in other meetings about
fair
that.
enough.
Now, my only comment is to put an FY in front of the 25 budget. Just because that means it's fiscal year instead of calendar year. So I'll look at
Okay.
Just real quick, the 15,000 for the IT replacement, can you remind me what that was for?
I think so. I can, yes. This is sort of part of this whole thing, Kevin, is, IT replacement is data.
Okay.
It's actually a cloud service that we use to back up.
So it's the service.
Yeah, that's what it actually is. So going into next year, we're gonna rename this. Because to me, this sounds like we're replacing.
Computers.
Yeah.
Exactly, but this is not that. This is a specific service that we pay to back up our stuff. And the way that this came about was, one, a hurricane. But actually, what has happened, I don't know if you guys read appraisal news, I hope you don't. But, the CADs have been held hostage over the last few years. So, people have not people, the data's held hostage.
Mhm.
So hackers have went in and got it, and then like, Dallas CAD,
I
They-
do the same thing with all my data, back it up in a cloud.
so that's what this came
Yeah.
about, this is where this came
Yeah.
from,
Yeah.
was if someone ever gets
That and the
hurt.
hurricane took the server,
Mhm.
so we don't have anything, I don't even either, because we share a server. I have nothing that was collected from
That's
2017,
fine.
yeah,
When we
prior.
do the budget, we might consider renaming.
Renaming that, and there's little things on here like this, well, we can talk about that.
Yeah.
The next thing on here is not a requirement from the tax code for me to tell you guys this, but I want y'all to know and just be completely informed, to the best of my ability, that, 2 weeks ago, maybe, something like this, a couple of weeks ago, was it this week? A couple of weeks ago, we received an email from the school district attorney informing us that there's a possibility that we had an error in a document that was submitted to the comptroller in October of '24. Val did some work investigating, and we had an error, a significant error in something that's called freeze value lost, and it unfortunately has a lot to do with the legislature when they did the $100,000 homestead exemption. They also did a thing, some people know about it, it's a compression rate for over 65, where they did some math, in years behind it, and captured a value that then became the freeze, that then made the over 65, tax bill drop. Well, that was on this form. We did not have that correct. And so we have, resubmitted the forms to the comptroller. We have given, Kathy Henderson and Dr. Austin the documents, and we've done the same thing for APISD. So the correction is there, but the error happened. And it was from October of 2024 submission.
So was the error, which direction was
Yeah,
the error?
Um,
Like in favor of the property owner where they paid less? or-
No, it wasn't anything like that. It was this. It was, there's a freeze amount. And then,
what would have been collected had they not made the change and done the compression. Because my understanding is for the school district that the state says we have money we can put in that you're gonna lose because of what we've done here. And so that number that the state would contribute comes from our data that we give the comptroller.
And it's just data to the comptroller that was changed, not
so it's
what
nobody's,
we actually did.
yeah, it's nobody's value.
Nothing, yeah, nothing that the tax bill had anything to do with.
It's that this number,
A form they had to
it's
submit.
that the number was like $2 million.
So it's a reporting thing,
It's a
not
report, yeah, a
Okay.
reporting thing.
I got you.
I know, I'm like, no, our bills are fine.
No, I already get the money.
That's right. No, I've been doing that, trust me.
All of
Okay.
that is good, but what happened is we should have reported a significant change in the freeze total,
Mhm.
but we reported a minimal change in the freeze
So it
total.
was underreported.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
And we did receive from the comptroller's office, to the chief appraisers, it says, in reviewing the self-reported data for the 2024 school district property value study, we identified several school districts that may have incorrectly reported value loss to the tax ceiling. Please check the preliminary data for value loss. And then it gives us the form for correcting. So it was, I believe, a widespread.
There was a lot from listserv that I have been dealing with. There was a lot of issues this year with this new compression, with a lot of counties and a lot of school districts, with the reporting issues, because it was a new thing and they threw it at us at last minute and.
This is why politicians can't solve problems. I mean, when it's so dadgum complex that, you know, you need a flow chart and a string chaos theory to figure it out.
Yeah.
So are there ramifications for the mess up, or is it we correct it and everybody just goes on down the road?
So that is the question to ask right there. So the way it looked is the question that I asked. I talked to Purdue, Brandon, somebody, which is the school district law firm. And they said that there more than likely financial harm happened to the school because of the error, and that the financial harm will be fixed in the fall when the school gets another financial payment in September.
So they'll get reimbursed.
There's a reimbursement that will happen.
Because they've been getting reimbursed for that, and this isn't the only year that it's gonna happen again, because the legislative is working now to move it to 200,000. And it'll be effective this year. We'll have to do the same thing where.
Oh, in 24, Pat?
Yes,
Retro?
it's gonna have to go on the election, but we have to do it as if it passed.
So we're.
They required of me to do that last time with the 100,000. I literally they had to give me a certified value for both, the 40,000, and then they had to give me a certified value for the 100,000, both of them. But I had to do all my calculations on the 100,000, which we were all kind of sure, we know it's gonna pass. There isn't anybody out there that's gonna say, no, we don't want that. But in order.
I always wonder about those 7% who do look that way.
There are some, and I guess they probably don't have anything like taxes, they don't care. But, so that's gonna happen again, because it is in the works, and it's probably most likely gonna go through, and again, the school districts are gonna get hurt again, and they get reimbursed on a timely, yeah, right. So this
Did you
is,
say 200? I thought it was going to 140.
and they were looking at 200, some part of it, I thought it was 200.
So
We were just been talking about it
when you
little
say
by
that it
little.
negatively affects the school district got less money, but the state's gonna send them more money.
That's the way I understand it.
So ultimately, there's no ramifications other than they just got less money.
There's a delay in a payment.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
there's no, like, we're not having to pay money back to the
No,
state for anything.
no, not at all. That didn't happen. But now that we know what the data should look like, this particular form, anytime we print this form and we're gonna submit it, we know exactly where to look. And in the past, there was not a compression rate that monkey wrenched you. But now that it's there, we know, like, these numbers, there needs to be a delta between these numbers or something's not right. And we basically got told we just should have ran the report twice, right? Is what it came down to. We should have ran it and then ran it again, and it would have some sort of recalculation in there, and it would have caught it. It would have caught it. It's not a number we generated straight out of software. And, you know, it's just a form that we generate, you know, PDF document, it spits out, we put it in a stack of paperwork, we send it to the comptroller, and then whenever we even got told, hey, there's an error, I'm just like, how could there be an error? This comes straight out of our data. But then when you start thinking about the timing of the compression rates, how it all happened, like boom, 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 there was no working knowledge of what this should look like. Well, that's how errors happen. I mean, nobody knew to double check line 7 on comptroller form.
We weren't used to it because, for one, we never used to put compression rates into the calculations into the tax
Yeah.
system. And I had to go back and put the last 5 years in. We got them from the school. And luckily, I get those when I do the calculations. So we went back in and had to put those all in along with the tax rate. Now we have to put in the compression rates because it's part of the calculations. Now, we never had to put those in. They've always been there, but we've never used them.
And just to reiterate, we've done the remedy, we've turned it in, we've notified everybody. I want you guys to know that this did happen. It's not the best thing in the world to have happen, but we fixed it.
But you're confident that systematically,
We understand it now. You know, it's one of those things where once you dig this far into it, we're like,
We'll never forget again.
we're like little mini experts on this thing now, especially Val did most of the legwork, just figuring out where this thing came from. Compression rate stuff's a little bit tricky. It's not, you don't go to class and learn how to, this is like the back end of the software that somebody's putting this information in and it's doing this math. Yeah.
it begs the question for me, if the comptroller's gonna do the calculations anyway, why would they even make us do it?
Sometimes we,
It's kind of weird.
So, that's it. That's
Okay.
Chief Appraiser report.
Perfect, thank you, appreciate that. All right, moving along, agenda item number 4, consideration and action on revised personnel policy manual. So, from my understanding, we have 4, is that right, 4 proposed changes to the policy. And then everybody should have the clean document and then the one with the struck portions in the center there. And then the one following that and the one following that, I guess. I guess it's more than I thought, but anyway. So, I guess what we need to probably do to open this up is have a motion to actually initiate changes, and then we can deliberate, or somebody can offer a change and we can have discussion on that.
Make a motion to, consider and take action on the revised personnel policy manual.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Who would like to begin? Probably Kevin, I can see him chomping at the bit. No.
So if I may, this basically came about kind of, first of all, in the budget process of last year, when then we were working on comp times and some things like that had come up in the budget process. And our question from the board at that time was, well, what does the personnel policy allow for? And so then once we started digging into the personnel policy, we realized that we in fact were probably, we were budgeting line items and they were being approved by this board, so therefore they were okay, but they were contradictory to the personnel policy. So, what these changes represent really is we're changing the personnel policy to match what we're actually doing budget-wise. So, with, and that includes the holiday schedule. Originally, the policy had, and I don't know if everybody got the original policy, but, it had days, specific holidays. listed, but what the district has been doing for several years, and, you know, no, we don't even know when, how, where, or how it started, but whatever the county commissioner court would approve for the holiday schedule that year, that's what they would follow, the district was following. And it
That was
really-
my question, why don't we do that?
Well, this change will make that happen.
We did,
So-
but we didn't say we did.
The policy doesn't, so that's where things are a little, okay, so what these changes do, basically bring the old policy, this revision year into compliance with what we're doing.
Okay, so we're gonna start with section, the lead
Okay.
section then, so I guess since we're on that.
Okay.
So my question is, why does the holiday schedule, if we're gonna say whatever the commissioner's court
Okay.
approves, why does that have to be approved every year by the board?
It doesn't.
Okay, because I don't think that's necessary. I agree with having,
We're
we'll
not,
adopt that.
what
It's
we're
just a
doing
new-
here, what we're doing here is we're taking the 2018 version of the personnel policy, and we're updating it to what will now be the 2025 version.
Basically, that policy
But
will
her-
survive on until we
But
make modifications.
I think her objection, which I actually
It does
agree, is the
state that it has to
sentence
be
that says
approved,
we'll
yeah.
do it every year.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure that,
It's the sentence
not
in
really-
there
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Oh,
The
and the
first
correction.
sentence- The first sentence is fine, it's the second
Correct,
sentence.
it's
Yeah.
that we will adopt it
Okay,
every year.
got it.
Yeah.
Correct.
yeah,
But,
yeah, I'm not sure how that,
So are we in agreement?
Let me
Yeah,
ask
why
this
don't-
question. Okay, so I'd like to do this section by section if possible. So is there anything needs to be discussed about 1, 2, and 3 in section D, which is compensatory leave,
I mean,
Ray, from an operations standpoint?
from my standpoint, the comp time thing, yes. I haven't spent a ton of time in this document. But the 40 hours, no more than 40 hours carried over, I don't know that would be enough carryover. 40 hours doesn't seem like enough to carry over to me. You know, I understand that in our current situation, we have strayed outside of the personnel policy, policies. But I don't know that I would like more thought. I personally would like more thought in the comp time thing. The vacation time is easy, or the holiday thing, that was not difficult. You know, it's used before vacation time, shall only be used with the written approval of the chief appraiser. It has to be used, time should be used in the budget year that it was accrued, however, no more than 40 hours shall be carried over. That sentence bugs me, or it doesn't bug me, it concerns me, because the comp time isn't budgeted. So there may not be dollars in the budget to pay for comp time in a year, if that
I think
happens.
that's the purpose, is that they want you to use it within a calendar year,
And that
comp time can really, really, really build up, as you know, but as any entity can know who offers it, and there just has to be a cap on it for the business to operate, otherwise you just use it as a big savings account for all your employees that we don't budget to pay out. But it's hard to use it within that year,
Right,
sometimes too.
Right, that's kind of what we've ran into, is we've run into this. So there's a lot for me to say, go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt,
No, you're fine.
because I don't know this, what is your vacation schedule here? So like when an employee comes on, do they get like 1 week for the first year and then 2 weeks after? I don't even know.
Yeah, it's actually.
it accrues per month, and I wanted
Oh,
to
it's
say
one of
it's
those.
something like,
Is it the same as the county?
probably,
Because-
it's about a day per month.
Well, if it's the same as the county, ours is, our staff get 2 weeks a year, but they don't get, they get the first week after after working 6 months.
2 years or
But
less,
you're-
10 days, over 2 years, but less than 10 years get 15 days a year. I mean, it's set in the personnel policy
Okay.
that they have right now.
But if you
Agree.
accrue it as, every paycheck, we get like 3.08 hours a pay, 0.8 hours a paycheck.
But it sounds like for the way they do it
Yeah.
here, it's not an
It's like
accrual.
when it's on-
Is it, do you get it per paycheck accrual too, or?
For vacation.
about parts of it.
Yeah, they get it just like us, it ends up working to be that, but you start accruing it when you start, you don't get the whole thing handed to you.
So does it make sense to, if you're worried about the 40 hours being too restrictive, does it make sense to allow the comp time to mirror that of what the, I'm just throwing that out there. I've never worked on comp time, I don't know how to deal with it, so
Right.
I'm just trying to figure out how to manage it best.
I have,
It can get out of control.
There's something out there again, it goes back to the budget, and that is this. So my biggest concern, and maybe we had some anomalies in the past, but when I'm seeing excessive content, what that really tells me, that we are not properly staffed. And so that goes into, do we need to look at another position?
I have something to say about
Okay.
that, and it's, I'm hesitant to just, I don't wanna just talk about the budget and talk about what I think should be done around here, but to answer this comp time thing for you, what I've done is, I've told the staff there is no more comp time, okay? I'm about to have to change that for a little while, for a few months, and we're gonna have to make it through this time, so there will be some comp time built up. But the comp time is not increasing, it's dropping. Now, in my little bit of time here and watching this, I do know for sure that you're onto something. And I think it's this. I think it's not just that we need to hire a person. I think we need to redefine some roles. And there's a reason that there's two people here. I don't want to just bring out this stuff in open thing. But there is a reason for it, and we need to redefine some roles.
And that was my only statement really, is in any organization, when you see two, like, and
I get it.
that's your big flag, is that we need to maybe think, my concern is, overwork, are we staffed properly? Really, that's just in generic,
Yeah.
with nobody's personal problems,
Yeah,
nothing like
no,
that.
I know what you
Just
mean.
in general, something's not really.
It has stood out to me as I've been here, just seeing it from a different angle, that there's a way to fix some of that. Yeah.
So let me ask you this, is some of that a driver of just the way the calendar dictates the hours? Like, for instance, I grew up, my dad was a farmer, and he worked a heck of a lot more during planting time and harvest time than he did
Exactly
in
what
November.
it is. The
So-
deadlines start creating
Okay.
this thing, and then that creates, this need, right? And.
But then there is a lull that follows that to some extent that can kind of,
Historically, that they're not using it.
Yeah.
So it's that, we've got to get a happy medium of what we're asking the staff to do,
Right.
putting that workload on them, but we still need you to take your time off too. That's the whole purpose
Right.
of
Of the comp time.
approving it.
If not, it runs into what you said earlier, it ends up being this large bank of time, which we've been talking about with board of directors in the past, and it's never really been something that, I think maybe the can was kicked a little bit, like, we'll get to that, just do what you gotta do, And there were some years in there where they really were do what you gotta do years, when we flooded and just different things like that. Again, when we're editing the personal policy manual, I am like apprehensive to edit this thing, and I would prefer a bit of like a subcommittee, or I'm also apprehensive because of this time of the year. I would rather see us tackle something like this in the fall, or not right now, but I understand that we're not in compliance. The holiday thing is super easy. The travel thing, there's a few things I would say about it. I don't want it written this way. I just don't like the way that it's written. I don't want the amount that they're paid in here. I don't want that. I don't want, just because we changed the amount, we have to change the policy manual. I just would want some kind of statement that says that, you know,
Consistent with budgeted amounts.
consistent with the budgeted amount, not more than this many drivers. As dictated by the chief appraiser, and just leave it at that, and it's a budgeted amount that is decided.
And that
for the
makes
budget.
sense because this kind of limits you and puts you in a spot to where,
Well, the other thing it does is technically right now, we have 4 people who are job title field appraiser. And we don't want them to, those 4 people don't need this particular benefit, not all of them, just some of them. So the nervousness for me, has to do not with really, holidays or auto allowance, if we could just get auto allowance rewritten.
So did we produce this wording?
That was just a, yes, from
Okay.
Yeah,
years back.
yeah.
The wording there was just, I'm very, very concerned going into budget where, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
he put a note down here, the entire personnel policy and all job descriptions as listed in the budget should be reviewed prior to budget preparation. That's at the bottom of that document.
Okay, so I guess my biggest concern is that we're just back to paying people not in compliance with our, it just opens up legal problems. So whatever we do, we need to do something.
What are we doing now?
We need to look at the
We're waiting,
budget.
we're waiting for a, waiting for a literary change.
But what do they do with, what happens with travel
Oh, I think
now?
you meant right at this
No,
moment.
no. What's happening? What's the
Well,
policy?
this particular.
What are you following now?
What am I doing right now is we've taken away what used to be a hybrid thing where someone was getting somewhat of an allowance, but then they were being paid mileage. That's not really the way the industry does it. The best way to do it is to just get rid of mileage altogether and pay someone a vehicle allowance for using their vehicle everywhere.
So when you
But
say.
it's not in the policy
But that's
for
not-
mileage, right? I think that was the.
The mileage is all they're allowed to be paid, and what they're being paid was an annual amount. That's not in the
Correct, that's what
policy.
the policy
So
says.
my
That's what I
concern
remember.
is, what, the number this year happened to be 4,200. I'm just keep trying to get us in compliance with a budget we've already approved.
Yeah.
That's my big fear.
So do they get this paid every month?
4,200?
Does that,
Divided by 12.
That's their annual.
well, that's what I mean. So
Yeah.
every month they get part of the $4,200.
My only question with doing the annual amount is, does that, interfere with state law, with like mileage reimbursement? I don't,
It might if they were working more.
I don't know what the
know.
state law is on, do they, like, does the state law, because I know that the state sets the amount. Does the state also say, if you're going to do this, you can't lowball your
Yeah.
people and say, oh, here's an annual amount, you'll be fine, and then they end up driving 10,000 miles, and they should have been paid 6,500. Because a lot of times the state puts these laws in place to protect.
I don't know if there is one, because to be honest with you, because I get an allowance. And it's a lot less than this, a lot. And I share it with my chief deputy, because she does the bank run sometimes too, and I allot it out. Would that 65 cents, it would probably be a lot more if I got paid by mileage. So, and I'm not the only one that gets that amount, the district clerk, and we all get the same amount. I mean, it's nowhere near
I just don't
that.
want to have in our policy.
So that's why I'm
we're
thinking-
doing something contradictory to state
Yeah.
law, and then some disgruntled employee comes up and,
If we think about it, we're actually, okay, then not only that, forget policy, we're doing it.
yeah, I know.
Oh,
So that's my biggest, we're doing it.
But this is
Then why
on
do you
top
kick the can down the
of
road
mileage.
again?
No,
The way that,
instead of.
when you,
Instead of mileage.
Yeah.
when you.
It's instead of, but the policy that we
So we
currently have adopted says they'll only get as used mileage, not an annual allotment.
But doesn't our current budget, doesn't it have a line item for mileage?
The
and-
budget does, but the policy
No.
doesn't.
The budget does not have a line item for
We're
mileage, the
actually
budget
doing
has a line item for auto
Annual
allowance.
auto allowance.
And then
Yeah.
the personnel policy states that they will only be paid out, not that allotment, it states that they should be being paid out
And
the actual mileage as used.
Right. There is some mileage, like when someone that doesn't get a vehicle allowance has to use their car to like go to a class or something like
Yeah,
that.
class we get on mileage,
Then
when
that's
you do
mileage
conferences and
meals
classes,
and all
yeah,
that, and meals are at play and all that.
that's where your mileage comes in.
Well, we've got auto expenses right here, budgeted $19,100.
Exactly,
Well,
that's the,
I have an answer for that, and it will change, and by the end of this month, that number will be different. But that number was 4 people hitting as a driver for the county, that number, for this office. So the $19,000 number was annualized for really 3.5 employees.
But that 19,100, that's on top of the 4,200
No,
per.
that is the 4,200.
that is, yeah.
But that's not what, when we did the budget last year, that is not the way the numbers added out. It was 2 separate pockets of money.
Okay.
And can we
So,
potentially
anyway.
take Ray's suggestion and make a committee to do this? Obviously, I don't know that we can agree. We
Yeah.
know that there needs to be a change, and we need to be doing the right thing, and I 100% agree with that. I'm just not certain we can come up with that
Today,
right now.
But we do, but I guess that's really what the purpose here is.
Yeah.
We gotta handle it before budget,
But I want to answer this one
which
thing.
is in May.
I want to answer what you just said, because you're right. But here's what will be different. What you're saying is in 2 spots, it was in 2 spots, but it was accounted for one time. But it was super confusing, because we were putting it on the payroll page and the budget page, and then accounting it one time, which doesn't make sense. So we were showing our board of directors, here's our payroll with this number of $4,200 a month. And then we were saying, here's our budget, and here's the $4,200 a month. And we were making people assume that that was either one thing or 2 different things, depending on what it was. What it was one thing written down in 2 different places. And what it needs to be is written down one time. It's not part of payroll, it's part of a budget. It's not the payroll.
Okay, so
This is what it would cost, and then you could even say, well, how much would it cost if the district bought a vehicle? How much would it cost if the district decided to rent vehicles? So that's where this comes down to, is we have employees that have vehicles, that drive the county, that right now I can walk out there and say, Scott Arrington, drive to Key Allegro and drive Curlew and come back to me with this stuff, and he goes and does it, and we pay him for that vehicle, for that.
And that's just in the monthly allowance.
That's his monthly allowance. And I wanted to do away with the mileage, because when I looked at other appraisal districts, sorry, let me take a breath. When I looked at other appraisal districts, I noticed people stopped accounting for mileage at some time. And they just said, this is your vehicle allowance, this is what you do for us, this is how much we
So what
pay.
can we do then? What can we do to get us in compliance right now? We'll take the dollar value off and we'll just put it as,
I would like for it to say something like,
help us write it then. That's what I'm getting at. Let's do this.
okay.
Can't, I mean,
Well,
We
we wanna
can't
make changes,
take-
or we wanna have a subcommittee?
okay, it's up to y'all, but looking at this schedule of events that he's given us, we're looking at May for a budget.
I can't have it all done before then, there's no way.
See, then, and that's my biggest concern, because again, here we go, we're approving a budget. It's really not.
Right.
Okay, so,
So I don't know what,
just so,
I'm up for whatever you want to do, but my biggest goal here is then to really solve a problem instead of continuing.
Yeah, I get it. I mean,
so,
And for this year's budget, to be clear, that this, what we got last year was good. And then I think last year we even come up with the fact that, when we were discussing COLA got added somehow on top of the auto. So we had to pull out, and we were all like, well, wait a minute. When we were doing COLA raises, somehow the COLA got on top of so I'm just bringing all
this year.
last year's budget process, when we were at the aquarium. So
I'm
I'm trying to stop from, I just want to raise my hand now, before we get to May.
So you don't think we could meet and bring something back for the next board meeting in April?
Y'all could, but, yeah. I mean, I don't know, that's,
so I'm still trying to figure this out. Maybe I'm a little slow. I'm just trying to figure out where this number comes from. So there's 19.1. My recollection of last budget cycle is we approved, I thought it was 3. I thought what was proposed was 4 at 4,200, and we approved 3. Is that, or was it 5 that was proposed and we did 4?
You did 3, and then you did a half for the chief appraiser.
Okay,
It was
so,
something like that.
so 3 times 4,200 is,
And I don't know that it was
12,600.
4,200, is that right?
yeah, it
Is
was
that correct?
42, I remember that.
Okay.
So that's 12,600, and then another half is 21, so that's what, 13,700. So what gets us to 19,100? I guess what's the methodology to arrive at that number?
There was mileage in that, like, the planning of mileage was in there.
Okay, but what do we figure as mileage and at what rate to get us to that 19,100? I'm just trying to.
I don't have that.
Okay, that was my question last year, and maybe I wasn't articulate enough in how I asked it,
No,
but
you
I kept
have-
trying to get to it and I couldn't get there.
It's part of the reason why,
I'm not opposed or picking
No, I
it
get
apart,
it,
I
but
just want to understand how we get
Could
there.
that have also been, like, if somebody goes to conferences or
Travel
something,
training.
just regular training?
I get it,
The
I just want to
mileage
know
of
how
that.
we arrive at that number, you know.
So as far as a personnel manual, we need to have that. I would think we would need written policies on something like that. There's no question.
I mean, I'll commit, and I don't want to get into this whole legal stuff, right? But I'll commit to spending some time on this. I don't want to establish a walking quorum. I wonder if there's some way, you know, to do this outside of the constraints of the actual meeting. I understand everybody's schedules are all different, and it's difficult to get us here. We saw email exchanges last week about that. But I think maybe the best way to go about this is this is a bones we work from, and then whoever has a suggested change, we send that to the district and they can compile those, or send it to the district, compile it, don't mess with it, send it to me, and then I'll take the time to put it all together. Does that sound okay? Because we're not making any decisions, we won't be in violation of the Open Meetings Act. All I'll be doing is taking the various suggestions and put them into one document, and then we can up or down, yea or nay. Does that make sense?
Whenever at the next meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Does everybody,
I'm not agreeing.
is that cool?
And I will offer to look at the state travel requirements, look at the statutes for that and see what I can find.
Okay, wonderful.
I'm not an attorney, so, but I will look at them.
I'm
I
not
look at
either, thank
statutes all
God.
the time.
Well, they went up just this last year. I mean, the rate, yeah,
68.
yeah.
Yeah, 60 or 67, something like that, yeah.
yeah.
Do we need to amend the motion to table this pending further,
Well, we
discussion,
would
or
just
just
have to-
not take action?
We would have to have a motion to table since we have a motion second.
Yeah, I think I'll just make a motion to table this until the next meeting.
I will second it.
And can we set a date for us to give you comments by, so I've got a date in mind.
I'm gonna say, let's try to do it no later than 2 weeks. Is that reasonable? Just because it's, you know, it's just a process, and like she said, this is a problem that's lingered on a long time. What is your last name?
We have a month.
I'm sorry? Did somebody say something? No?
April 14th. Oh, I need my calendar for that.
Okay, do we have a second on the motion to table?
I can say.
Okay. No, Nikki. I have a hard time when I go from names to.
So we're sending them to you, and then you're gonna
I mean,
collect them all and order them, or?
I'll help him do it. We'll obviously get Ray's approval, but he's gonna be so busy.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
really gonna have to guard myself, I mean, I am.
He needs to know all of them and put his input
Do
in
we
there,
still
but
have that, the board president email? Just.
No, I use my personal email.
Okay.
If anybody doesn't know my email,
For my personal use, but.
I mean, I can send everybody, well, I don't even know if I have everybody's email.
There's in the link that she sent the agenda in that too,
Mhm.
all of ours should be in there.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yours should be in there.
Okay,
So if they
whatever.
send them to you, don't CC anybody, individually send them to you,
That's fine.
okay.
Is it possible for you guys, are you guys trying to fix or Band-Aid till we get to the future, like where I have more time? What is the goal here?
Well, if you Band-Aid it and just make it to match this budget for right now,
Uh-huh,
and then we can fix it
in the fall?
well, and again,
Or
any
fix
chief
it.
appraiser may have other wants and needs too, but if we can get ourselves on the up and up and doing the things that we're saying that we're doing, we're paying them how we're saying we're gonna pay them.
We're following them.
Yeah.
Correct.
So then we can always fix it in the fall.
So, okay, so we tabled the the initial discussion, but my question is, can we take some of this off our plate right now? Is there any of this language that we can adopt as is? Like, you said, one of them, what'd you say, the one on holidays?
He just wants the second line taken out.
Okay,
Yeah, I like the
Should be
second
no-
line, I think that that's great.
Can we amend the motion? We're not tabling now, we're back in discussion.
Yeah, we
Well,
tabled.
it's like, again, if we're gonna change that whole section, let's change it all
Yeah,
in
let's-
2 weeks and
Okay.
let's,
Do it all at
Or
once.
just get it done before budget. That's my other biggest issue, is I don't
Yeah,
want to the budget with this stuff so lingering.
and that's one thing that's driving that Ray's direction, just so y'all know, Ray and I had a discussion 2 weeks ago, Ray, is that about right?
Yeah.
Where I told him I thought it would be more beneficial for him and the district to have a budget as early as possible. I don't expect this year to be quite so scrutinized, but, you know,
Yeah.
we don't want to get in a situation like we did last year where it's like literally the last day that we have to, and we're all there at 9:30 at night and people aren't making the best decisions, so.
Right.
My commitment to Ray was to try to get that to him as early as possible.
You also remember, we are given a preliminary budget in May, but it doesn't have to be adopted until September.
Right.
So we could also fix the majority of this between May and September before we adopt it. And maybe have it all done then and do more.
Okay, so,
So
let's make sure we don't have
We
any
need to-
holidays between now and then that are not
we
on
need to
our
vote,
schedule.
right?
A vote.
on the,
Well,
We got a motion and a
Yeah.
second to table.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so all those
Take
in
the vote.
favor of the table? Aye.
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 Okay, passes.
the next available holiday is June, so we could fix the holiday one at the next meeting.
I'm
Good
just
Friday.
saying,
No, no,
yeah, I
I'm just letting you know,
I don't know
because
what y'all
Juneteenth is the next one.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute, no,
Good Friday.
it's Good Friday, but it's on there. Good Friday's on there.
Ray, let me ask you a
Okay,
question.
do
Yeah,
you
no,
understand what
yeah,
I'm
oh,
saying?
yeah, no.
That list is not, like,
Well, actually, that list is very accurate. The only
But
new
it's
one
not-
on there is Juneteenth, is the
and
only one that.
President's Day wasn't on there, and they took President's Day.
Oh, was it not on there?
Yeah, no.
President's
So-
Day's been on, we've been keeping President's Day for
But it's
years.
not, I
Okay.
don't, if they do, they do, that's not my problem. My
Yeah.
problem is that the implementing the state, that we didn't approve that as a board, and so technically,
Okay,
we
so
started in.
I have a question that's, may come out of left field.
Okay.
Is there any reason why it would make sense for this office to be open at a time when the county offices are closed?
That's what I know. Right?
Would make no bearing. Okay.
No, not at all. Now, the other thing is, I don't know if this is opening a can of worms, just to throw this out here real quick. There are times that we close early for the judge's orders, and I have always been told to call this office to let them know.
Oh,
When the judge shuts down for emergency.
Well, he has that prerogative.
Okay,
We-
okay, just
yeah,
let you
we-
guys all know,
Okay.
there
Just
are
to let
those
you
times.
know, but that doesn't mean they automatically say, okay, we're closing early too.
Sometimes
Well,
we do,
but-
sometimes we don't.
The county
No, I
judge,
don't, whether you do, you don't, but I'm saying
You're
that
talking
that's not an
the county,
automatic.
yeah, he, under the government code, he
Yeah.
can shut down all county operations.
Right.
Yeah, so if he's doing that,
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think we even need to enshrine that as
Okay.
a policy.
yeah, because I automatically call them and let them know we're closing at this time per the judge's
Okay.
orders.
And if we say it follows
And
Aransas
there's-
County.
And there's been times I have it
Fix
closed
that.
because he said so.
Yeah, but that would fix that, instead of having a list of days, the county. Okay, yeah, but it's tabled right now.
Okay, all right, good deal. Moving along. So, agenda item number 5, consideration and action on allocation of funds for recruitment of a chief appraiser. So to give a little background on that, for anyone who wasn't part of that conversation, my thoughts, and of course this is, you know, is the will of the board. My thoughts are, regardless of where our individual heads are with what we would like to see moving forward to fill the title of chief appraiser, and take the interim tag off, I think that we owe a duty to the entirety of the county to do our due diligence in a search for the widest net of candidates that we can, or the widest cast of candidates that we can net. So my thinking was that I don't want to break the bank. I don't want to go spend $20,000 and hire a consulting firm and all that. I can't stand it when they do that. But I think somewhere in the neighborhood of 300, 400, something like that, because these publications that Ray has alerted us to that would probably generate some interest in the job, some of them do have a cost. It's really not, it's not cost prohibitive. A lot of them are like, what, $70, $80
Well, I mean, the county appraisal organization or whatever it's called, that was only $50, and I would think most people that are in that field would.
That's what I say, we don't
Would
even have a
be
budget
using
for
it.
that,
Yeah.
we're not allowed, we.
Right, we only approved free.
Yeah,
So I think as a minimum, that definitely should be done.
so
have
Brady,
we-
oh, go ahead, no, go ahead.
I just wanted to, have we had, it's out there, so have we received any applications?
I have not received any. I know
Well,
they
it
were
should
supposed to be
go to
coming to
rate.
me.
We've had one.
Only, I would suggest the only other thing is putting it on that website, I would put it in the pilot. Did we put the pilot cost?
Well, it can,
I mean, but
it can be spent out of, we can.
Well,
we can
that,
spend
you
it
know,
out of
ha-
Out of advertising?
Val had sent an email though, and it,
Yeah.
because we weren't in,
Yeah.
it wasn't a board decision, and so that's why it's on the agenda now, is for the board to either approve some sort of a budget number, $300, whatever you want.
Yeah, 'cause my thinking
We've gotta
was,
have it,
you know, we let Ray kind of dictate where that goes unless we have individual, you know, unless we have ideas that we want to say, hey, do them in this. I really don't. If y'all do, that's great. But my thinking was we give him budget and just say, maximize it the best you can. Maybe we want to definitely hit this one or that one. But I didn't want to make that decision unilaterally. I didn't think that was appropriate, so that's why we're here, so. Is there anybody that'd like to make a motion?
I guess I'm trying to wrap my head around us dictating what he's gonna spend it on. The budget's already there, I think we just give him the authority we've already, I mean,
But we haven't given him a budget though.
I know, but where are we gonna get the money from? If we're gonna move money, then we have to actually do the full 30-day notice again and
not,
do all the
not
entities.
We have a budget for
we have
advertising,
a
like
budget.
it's, for advertising.
But would we approve
That would be
anything out of
some-
there previously? Like, I guess that's where I'm going, like, why would we
Right.
approve what he's advertising for?
well, that's, to be honest, and when it didn't happen, that was my
Yeah.
confusion too, was just, I mean, it just got turned into,
I just remember at the last board meeting, we said that we would approve, or was it the one before that, anything that was free. So,
but that's where that kind of went wrong too.
My thinking about the dictate from the board is, I want to protect Ray on that front, because I don't want somebody to come back after the fact and say, oh, well, y'all let him decide where he was gonna.
well, that's almost
Yeah.
kind of where I was thinking, like,
Right.
conflict of interest.
Right.
Right, well, we could tell him, use the money out of advertising and post it here and here.
So that's what we're wanting to do.
There we go.
We need it on the minutes of the meeting,
Okay.
saying this is what we decided, so that it doesn't put him in a situation, or Val, that she's using money that's not approved by the board. That's really what we need to do
Okay.
here, is we as a board need to come up with a number that says, this is what we're,
Do we know how much it was for T-80?
$50 on it, was it? I thought it was-
something like that.
And then,
For how, for
Oh,
how
okay.
long?
I see,
1 month?
1 month, that should be,
that should be-
and it's on TEAO for free,
Right.
and that's Appraise Your Collector's site. So, and then the pilot, I don't know how much that would be. Can't be, whatever, we don't have to have a set dollar amount to say advertising the pilot for, say, 2 weeks at both papers, or
I don't really, what is their publication run? Is it once a week or?
they're once
It's
a
only
week
once a
now,
week now.
so I would run
Okay.
it for 2 weeks or 3.
Right.
So,
The last time I posted
This
it,
is,
$230 for a month.
Really?
For a month?
Big deal or?
Not bad.
Well, then they could do it that way for a month, you could just tell them just run it for a month and how much I know that I only run the big ads for the entities and how much goes.
Okay, so just for example, we did have these documents at the last meeting. This is the Corpus Christi Caller Times, which, you know, your cheapest is $349 for 30 days, so we're probably not gonna do Caller Times. This is, so that's your TAAC, okay? And that's where they have.
The pilot,
Okay, this is the pilot. It's Southwest Texas News.
Yeah.
So if you wanna go with Carnes, Goliad, Rafael, San Patricio, Aransas, Pass, Progreso, Ingleton, there's Rockport, right there. Okay, that's
13 per issue,
okay, that's their most latest.
40 words at
We're gonna
30
do
cents
legal.
per extra word, 13 per issue.
I just make sure that.
Good, yeah.
It's not that
So,
bad.
can I make a motion for the board to approve of, up to $400 out of the advertising to advertise for this new position.
Second motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Motion is to allow expenditure up to $400 to advertise the position of permanent chief appraiser, and that was seconded by Colleen. All right, is there any discussion?
So this way, would we need to make sure we tell them what, just to make it so they're not,
I think you can amend the motion.
I can't.
We already
Throwing
have,
that out there.
We already have-
I'm like, I
What-
can't.
What specific,
we already have the posting, have already told us what to say.
No, I mean,
No.
in what?
and
We
what
want
entity?
like
So-
DAA,
If you guys are wanting to know, like, where people advertise for these kind of jobs, it's TAAD and TAAO. That's where these
And
jobs.
it's already on
It's already-
TAAO?
Right.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah, it's
That's
really-
where if you desired,
Okay.
like, I want
Let me amend my motion to state that make a motion for the board to approve up to $400 for the advertising of the position of the permanent chief appraiser, and at a minimum, the Rockport pilot and the organization TAAD. And then any others that may fit that budget that may seem reasonably useful.
Okay, we have a second on that motion, for the amendment.
I second.
Okay. All right, so is there any other discussion, or are we ready for a vote? Hearing none, I think we'll just take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good, motion carries. Okay, great. Now, moving on. Agenda item number 6, discussion on future BOD board director meeting dates based on comptroller's required calendar of events. Okay, this is something that Ray and I discussed in our
I'm
meeting.
gonna go to baseball if you guys don't mind.
You're good, you're good. Thank you so much, we appreciate it, and good luck. Okay, this is something that Ray and I discussed, and, I've got some notes that I wrote here. So, starting with in May, which we've already discussed, where we want to see the preliminary budget, or we would like to be working for preliminary budget, let's put it that way. And then mid-May, somewhere in that area, we'd like to possibly do a budget workshop. I'm gonna say that that's probably gonna be dictated with, if we get some feedback, from members of the board saying, hey, we really need to discuss this, things of that nature. So that'll kind of be almost like not a complaint-driven process, but like hey, we need more information here. And then we've got around middle of June, that's what I wrote down here, 6/15, that's our targeted date for proposed budget, to be tendered after we've had a possible workshop to work through the issues of gravity, if you will. And then, I wrote down mid-July, because I wanted to get past the July 4th
These are
holiday.
notes you just have right here, we don't have those.
That's right, yeah,
Okay,
I'm sorry,
okay,
I should have,
I was looking for them.
right, I wrote these down, I should have tendered them to everybody.
No,
That's okay.
But,
Wait, hang on.
yo,
I think our package includes something like that.
I just put that together.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah,
they're
the dates are a
different.
little different.
Yeah,
Oh,
the dates
what
are
he's
different,
reading.
that's just me putting some stuff together so that we can have,
We'll pick one.
Okay.
some order.
Sorry.
and this is just a discussion, we're not taking, it's not an action item.
Right.
Just kind of getting everybody, just tentatively mark your calendars. If somebody's taking like a 2-week vacation in the middle of July, probably let somebody know that.
I am.
Are you, yeah, well, I don't know, hey, I've got a lady on my board at POA that, she takes it serious, she's going to Tahoe for a month. She does it every year, so,
I'll be gone from July 11th to July 20th.
see, there you go.
well, that's usually when I would like to take vacations, is because when he hands me that roll in July 25th, my life's over.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the way we like it.
But I never get to.
So possibly, if we feel like we can get to an adopted budget, maybe we try to do that prior to that departure, maybe around that 7th, 8th. I don't even know where July 4th falls on the calendar. That sometimes dictates.
Friday.
Oh, if it's a Friday, okay, that'd be good then. So then the 7th is Monday, Tuesday be the 8th. I would think most people will be back from whatever they're doing. And then I've got mid-September is any kind of policy reviews that we're gonna do, which I know we're already delving into the personnel policy, but we've talked in the past about the adoption of a board policy, about, you know, how to conduct our meetings in the absence of the chair, things of this nature. It's just a bunch of very, you know, just exciting stuff. But that's something we could possibly do in mid-September. By that point, Ray, the heavy lifting's gonna be over on your end, right? And I'm even, you know, some of this stuff, if we're only dealing with board policy, it's always a good idea for our chief appraiser to be at our meetings, but if that's something where you just absolutely, you got something you know, going on, that's really not gonna affect what y'all are doing. This is an internal thing. But I do wanna clean those things up so that we do have contingencies moving forward. And then, I wrote down protest data presentation. I don't know why I wrote that down.
We had talked and you had said maybe at the end of when it's over, if we could give an overview.
That's right, that's
Give
right.
an overview of just.
Kinda like what you provided here with the
That's
bar
where that
graph
came
deal.
from. I thought it was a good, when you said that, I've been asked that kind of stuff before, and so I just took a little bit of time to put that together. It's always good for,
Good information.
it's good for me to look at it.
Okay, so another thing that we discussed too, and this is something that I would like the board, I'd like it to be board driven as well. Ray and I talked about, I don't want to say the need, but maybe the wisdom in the chair going before the various taxing entities on a semi-regular basis, just to say, hey, we're here, this is what we're doing, particularly right now. And I'm thinking of, because we are in search for a full-time chief appraiser, I would love to go to them when we have decided on our full-time chief appraiser and announce this is what we've done. And I just think that greases the skids a little bit. I think the more people know, the less they let their imaginations run wild. And that's the last thing we want, is for people, you know, because my idea would be to, if the board says, okay, Matt, we're going to empower you to go to this meeting at the Commissioner's Court, let's say. The way I would like to see that unfold is, I would get with the county judge and I would ask to be put on the agenda instead of doing it during citizen communication. That way, if there are questions, I'm available for the question. Of course, I'm gonna have to give the disclosure right up front, or disclaimer right up front. I can't talk about values. That's not my forte. But if they want to know about what we're doing as a board, how we're making their lives better, I would love to go talk to them after we adopt a budget, assuming we don't have to go to them and ask for their forgiveness for taking more money from them. But you know, like last year was on that front, that would have been a positive thing to go talk to the entities about, because there was a significant reduction in the budget. And I think it helps too to explain to them where were we able to cut the budget and why. There was a lot of talk last year about legal expenses, and I was a bit concerned when I saw the bills for the first 2 months of this year. We needed that guidance from legal, but I was concerned moving forward that number needed to be significantly reduced, because the last thing I want to do is be a hypocrite and say, hey, we want the district to have less legal bills, and then we go have a big legal bill. But I think that's something that, you know, I think the taxing entities, because they're probably not watching these videos, I wouldn't think, where we can talk to them and it's in an open setting.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So be thinking about that, times when you think it would be pertinent for us as a board to speak. And someone else can be designated. It doesn't have to be me. Someone else can be designated by the board to go have that conversation. Yes, Colleen?
Just something to think about. So the, state statute requires that we meet quarterly, and I think in the past quarterly, the one reason why was because we got, the updated roll quarterly, right? So if nothing else, if you only go and you get on their agenda quarterly, and it's just a 10-minute even to say, here's our updated roll, just to keep you guys in the know. I know you contact their specific budget folks, but it's the elected folks that don't ever talk to, you know, the money people, the staff, and then they get shocked over but, so that's my only suggestion, is that it's just a timely thing that could be done. He's already given us the quarterly report, and then if you look at it and you get on the next agenda, he's ready to go with the same report. He's already in the two of you together. Maybe you give the board report, and then he just gives the state of the district, the quarterly state of the district report. 5-10 minutes, you guys are out of there, something like that.
I don't know, we've never done this before, and I think to go from 0 to quarterly is a lot, for each of the taxing units, because that's.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, my
But
preference would be,
they meet twice a month.
Well, at a minimum, the county and the school district.
I think you target the big ones, I
Right.
think maybe you send a letter to the smaller ones, because honestly, I had a conversation
Oh,
with,
yeah, I'm not,
Yeah.
go on.
so I had a conversation with the APIC superintendent, back when this whole bill came up about changing the method by which we seat this board. And honestly, I mean, he was a gracious fellow anyway, and he was just like, yeah, kind of whatever you guys want to do, you know? And I was thinking like, well, point of contact you is to elicit what you think your board wants. And he was like, yeah, you're good. So, and I do have some ideas on that. I would like to put that on the future agenda about us maybe, because we can initiate a change and then send it to the entities, or it can be vice versa. Of course, they have the prerogative of approval or disapproval. But I have an idea that I think would maybe be palatable moving forward, that I think could stave off a lot of what I see coming down the pipe as being very political and very nasty. And I just don't think it's necessary. But I think, to your point, that the larger ones, the county, the school district, the city of Rockport, maybe city of Fulton, you know, and I don't really have to be quarterly. I think the best thing to do is to target certain dates where we have taken certain action. So like when we finally do name a full-time chief appraiser, I think that's an important time to go and present a face. I think after we have passed the budget, we present the budget as part of their records too, which they get that anyway, I know. And then possibly around that same time, even though we may pass the budget early, we can wait to the statutory deadline to give them the official appraisal of it. But I think maybe when we conclude the protests, anything that's non-litigated, and we can get some data on that, and then we just go present that and say, hey, here's, because like this stuff right here, I mean, I've been curious on these numbers for a long time, where you're showing the bar graphs, which, because the numbers I'm used to are from different counties, but I love this. I love showing like, okay, well, when we have this amount of increase, we can expect there to be this amount of increase in protests. We can expect for this, roughly this percentage to be non-settled after ARB, or you know, the ARB didn't go with the owner or property owner. But I think that's good data for these folks to have. And then, you know, if they want to chew it on a little while, they've got inquiries, you know, it's their prerogative. We kind of serve at their pleasure, really, kind of the way it boils down to. But anyway, Colleen?
My only comment on the quarterly, and this probably doesn't mean anything, but I like consistency, is every board in this county that receives any money from the county must submit a quarterly report.
Oh, I see.
So if we're gonna open the door, then at the same time, then we don't wanna be caught on that deal either, where, then we have. So that's my only
I
caveat
got
there.
you, yeah.
So if you're gonna go and you're gonna, every board, you know, you gotta look at that, Rental Pathways, all of the art
And they
center,
do,
they
it's
all.
the first of the month, and that,
They
I mean,
have
you don't wanna
to-
go to commissioner's court at the beginning, because it's like an hour of
Right.
listening to all these
Right.
reports. And they do.
Right,
I do like the idea when we do hire, going in and introducing
Yes.
the chief appraiser, that would be, and you should hit every entity on that.
so that's
Every
where,
entity.
that's my point was,
Yeah.
if you get on the agenda, and then they go, oh, we got this other board we're not
Yeah, I would.
monitoring it, you know, you don't wanna
Right.
get on their loop there either, so if you go in as just a,
Yeah.
well, that's all I'm trying to say
Just
is,
whenever we
okay,
hire
so
the
just
chief
kinda watch
appraiser.
that, or if you go in with public,
That better not be
ask
annually.
for a special, just to introduce
Yeah.
Yeah.
the new chief appraiser. But that's my biggest concern about that, is that all boards that receive any sort of,
Yeah,
they
I
have to
get it.
give a quarterly report.
I was thinking more like along the lines of Friday. Don't call me, I'll call you. But don't
Yeah.
call me, if you call me, I'll call you.
So there's
Yeah.
something for you guys to think about.
Okay.
That's
good
for,
stuff, yeah.
that's for discussing future board meetings. To
Yes.
me, it's important to get Gary Kate going with this
Yes.
stuff, since that's on here.
Yes.
I think once that 30 days elapses, we ought to just schedule a meeting, even single item on there,
Yes.
just do it, get it approved.
I agree.
Do we need to? I thought we
Because we
typically
had to-
approved the,
Well, we had to send out the notices.
I know the budget problem, but
I
thought
think you guys have to say in the meeting that there was no,
Discrepancy,
No one answered the call.
Okay,
I think you have to, that'll have to be a meeting, I'm pretty sure, where you guys say no one acted on the 30
Even if
days.
it's just
Notice,
15-minute citizens to be
And,
heard.
and I would
approve Mary
actually,
Kate,
in that
call it.
meeting, actually give y'all the amended budget.
Okay,
And from
And-
then on, our budget would say amended.
and the second thing about that, just to dovetail back into what we talked about earlier, once I think we get onto with, Kate's bookkeeping, some of our other issues here are gonna straighten out, so it'll get it off his chest with this budget. And even, and I apologize earlier, my anal retardedness about, form, but that will be taken care of once you have a CPA handling your, but that will, and I apologize for that, that'll just go away. Okay, so some of this, that'll just fall off. The CPA will make sure it's the form.
So that's just my one comment.
No, I
Once,
guess-
once that 30 days is up, let's just do that and get it done.
and where are we on that? Do you
I'll
remember,
let you know.
remember the date? Do you remember the date you sent out, or? So,
Yeah.
I think we're halfway through,
It
right?
was the day you came up here, do you remember that day?
Seems like
Because
that was
Colleen
pretty-
was here that day, and that
I
was
will
the
tell
day.
you the date, because I signed it, sent it, hang on a second.
I think it's
What
almost
are we
15
talking
weeks
about,
ago.
what 30 days?
We had to
I'm
give
so sorry,
the entities a 30-day,
we
Notice.
amended the budget. It's not all budget amendments, we move money. The only ones that have to be, that the entities have to be notified is if you move from personnel to operating. Put it that way, okay? If we move within operating, we don't really have to tell them. But we pulled from money from personnel, bookkeeper, and we were gonna put it in operating for professional fees to outsource the bookkeeping. So we had to notify the entities of a 30-day budget amendment.
Because
Because
it
we
basically, the Gary Kate was gonna cost $700 a month or something to do all of our accounting stuff, and it just doesn't make sense to have an in-house accountant at that point. So we're moving the
Oh, I
personnel.
didn't know, she didn't even know that, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess that was the meeting before
Sorry, we
you.
missed that.
Yeah, I wasn't aware.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
so
for professional
March
services.
19th, it was March 19th, yes.
That you sent out the notice, so.
Almost 2 weeks.
If we've got 30 days notice, then we can get that done before the end of April.
Yeah.
Let's knock that out.
I think
So
it was
is there a
March,
contract?
wait, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We have a letter of engagement.
They're,
Yeah, we're just waiting on the 30-day window to close, and
So do we take competitive bids for that, or how does that work?
Well, yes, we did.
I did not take
Oh.
bids for that. I
Mm-hmm.
have not taken a single bid.
March.
I don't think we have to, though. Because it was only like 6,600.
How long
for the annual.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah, it
6,600 a year, wasn't it?
Yeah, 669, 67, 69, yeah.
Didn't we ask Johnson and Creekmore too, and
We requested engagement letters and Kate's the only one who came up with one.
So you submitted bids, you only got
Okay.
quotes.
I mean, we didn't post it and some stuff like that. I think what we basically did was called around and just asked.
there's only, what, 4 local CPAs?
Right, I mean, it was
Yeah.
kind of, ended up like a sole source deal thing, but,
And the contract, I mean, has it been developed?
We got
It's all
it,
contained in that.
we've got an engagement letter.
And it's been signed by all parties?
It has not been
No.
signed by.
We can't yet.
We couldn't
Can I see
because
a
of
copy of it?
the budgetary stuff.
I mean, my business is contracts, so, and government contracts.
you can keep that till our next
I
meeting.
definitely would like to see them.
Okay, well, is there anything anyone else has before I entertain a motion to adjourn, as far as the business of the CAD board? Would anyone like to so move?
Oh, I
I'll
just have
make
a
a-
question, wait, sorry.
Okay.
So are you saying basically, like, looking at this, calendar moving forward, would you like to receive emails from folks that may, document, so you're not having to remember, she's gonna be out July, and you need something from me that says I cannot do these dates? Is that what you're
Yes,
asking?
if y'all would, if there's blocks of time
Okay.
or individual days where you're just going to be patently unavailable, email me those dates and I will try to construct
July
a calendar.
25th through middle of October.
Email.
You know, we're gonna have to find our heart to live without you.
Can you live without me?
Yeah.
I gotta get those tax bills out.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn, second.
No, I'm usually here and there.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Motion
Okay,
carries.
very
We're
good,
good.
very good meeting.
All right, guys, thank y'all so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ray.
Did you know the date? Were you pretty good with that
I'm
date?
pretty sure the 19th,
I'll double check.
will you, that's just the date I have on phone call, but that may be your phone call.
See, it was a Wednesday maybe. it seemed like it was 2 days shy of, 2 days shy of 2 weeks.
Let's see. I think that's the day I have of a phone from
And you sent it probably the following day, I'm guessing?
that
That
day
day,
it came in,
okay.
yeah.
Let's see, I keep a little calendar.
I bet Nancy has it though.
I'm sure she does, yeah.
So we can,
You should have a copy of that letter and the date on it.
yeah, we got it, it's just, once the office, tomorrow when people
No,
are
it's
here.
fine, yeah.
And then I'm
taking off.
Okay, bud, thank you,
Bye,
y'all.
thank you,
Appreciate it.
Kevin. You good? Everybody's good, thank you, thanks everybody.
Yeah, it's supposed to be in Portland by 6 o'clock, I don't think I'm gonna have it.
You can make it.
I got oh no, I gotta go home and let a dog out before I go.
You might not make it.
Yeah. What's bad is I got both granddaughters playing softball at the same time, at 2 different fields.
There you go.
Runs
I'm
smooth.
like, how do you do that? So I know Mama's gonna be with one, Mama's with one, and I think Dad's coaching the other, but he's been gone, so I don't know if he works at both campus. I don't know, I just text her and said, Colby with Mackenzie, because if he's not, I'm gonna go to her game late.
Yeah.
That way none of us is there.
Well, good for you.
Because at some point.
Good you're going.
See you later.
Bye, thank you.
Have a good one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because you said it keeps getting put to the back burner, and that's one thing I do well.
Okay, great, and I'll find out about.
March 19th, it was.
March
The, I'll find out about, March 19th, we just confirmed it, okay,
Yep.
so we need to be +30 from that